Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Are we happy? Yes. Put a stop to that. Now, before we start, I must warn you, as I can see some children in the audience, my tour will contain murder, execution, and my favourite, torture. Kids, happy to carry on? Yeah. If you're not, Harry Potter world is that way. Secondly, are there any Americans, Australians in the audience? Put your hands up now. Welcome home. I'll show you where you're all staying later. There will be times in my tour that I will require all of you to join in. You will know when that moment arises. Failure to do so will result in me taking you to the Tower's torture exhibit. Yes. Okay, let us begin. Our story begins, ladies and gentlemen, in the year 1066, when William, Duke of Normandy, better known as William the Conqueror, defeated the Anglo-Saxon King Harold at the Battle of Hastings. Thank you, sir, the Battle of Hastings. William was crowned King William I of England on Christmas Day, but he had to continue to fight his newly conquered subjects, as they did not take kindly to Norman domination. Now William looked to locate a citadel so he could command and control the citizens of London, and he chose a site on the eastern edge of the city wall where once an old Roman fort had stood. It was here, ladies and gentlemen, in 1078 that he would authorise the building of his first royal palace and fortress. Today, we refer to that building as the White Tower, and it is situated behind these magnificent defensive walls. There's no point in looking because you cannot see it. Over the next 200 years, successive monarchs continued to add to the defence of the tower. The inner ballium or defensive wall consists of 13 smaller towers that were completed in 1220. The outer wall contains 6 further towers that are all situated on the southern edge to defend the tower from any attack that may come up the River Thames. To the north of the tower are 2 strong bastions, Brass Mount and Legs Mount in the far left-hand corner. Inside and on top of would have been mounted cannons to defend the tower from any attack from that northerly direction. Ladies and gentlemen, you are all currently standing in the third line of defence, which is the moat or ditch, and was once filled with water from the River Thames. Now, twice a day at high tide, the river would have flown into and around the moat, keeping it very clean at first. However, with the amount of rubbish and excrement, that's poo, directed into it from the tower and the local areas of Shoreditch and Houndsditch, the moat soon became known as the largest cesspit in London, a source of pestilence to all those who lived nearby, especially the 1,000 soldiers based in the Tower garrison. Now, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, this cesspit continued for over 500 years, until in 1843, the then Constable of the Tower, the Duke of Wellington, a very astute general of the British Army, asked permission from Queen Victoria to have the moat drained. Permission was granted, and the Duke had it filled in with sand and shingle, up to the height that you are currently standing on it today. He then made good use of it as an exercise area and parade ground for his troops of the Tower garrison. As I said earlier, this was his first royal palace and fortress ever to be built in this country, and has remained a royal residence up until 1603. The last monarch to reside here was King James I. Now, most of you haven't just come here for a history lesson. Most of you would like to hear about executions and torture, correct?
Yes.
Right. We shall see. Let us begin, ladies and gentlemen. Now, when most of you arrived here today, you probably came by the subway. To the right of the tube